When Russia's fifth-generation stealth fighter jet Su-57 touched down on Indian soil, it was more than just a machine landing. It was a symbol of India's strategic autonomy, self-reliance, and rising global stature. In that moment, India didn't just receive an aircraft, it showcased to the world that it is no longer just a buyer of defense tech or dependent on foreign powers. India is now a sovereign force that defines its own defense policies, develops its own technologies, and charts its own future. The Su-57 is no ordinary jet, developed over decades by Russia, with the most advanced stealth, avionics, and AI-integrated flight systems. This jet can not only evade radars but also outperform in multi-role combat scenarios. And now, this marvel is in Indian hands, not just to fly, but to dissect, modify, and rebuild. Among the 5 jets delivered, one is a blueprint unit, giving India full access to the jet's technical DNA, a rare privilege few nations in the world enjoy. As soon as these jets entered Indian airspace, alarms went off across the global intelligence and military radar grids. From Washington to Brussels, the same question echoed. How did India pull this off so silently, so swiftly? One name emerged at the center: Ajit Doval, India's national security advisor, whose routine visit to Moscow turned out to be a historic masterstroke that shook the global defense equation. This isn't just a defense deal, it's a technological revolution. Because with these jets, India didn't just get air power, it got access to source codes. In an era where most nations guard their military tech, Russia handed over the entire control system, allowing India to modify radar systems, engines, avionics, and weapon payloads as per its own needs. India is no longer a mere pilot. It is now the mechanic, the designer, and the manufacturer. This move marks a new flight path for Atmanirbhar Bharat. India can now even build naval variants of the Su-57, deploy them on aircraft carriers, and counter threats at sea, especially from China's aggressive maritime ambitions. But that's not all. India and Russia are set to begin local manufacturing of Su-57s, making Make in India more than just a slogan. It is now a bold reality. And together, they will also work on future projects like the indigenous AMCA India's advanced medium combat aircraft, which will be even more powerful, more intelligent, and entirely Indian in philosophy and design. Compared to India's Rafale deal with France, the contrast is sharp. While Rafale is a brilliant fighter jet, France refused to share source codes or allow tech transfer. It was a transactional relationship. Russia, however, offered trust, partnership, and true strategic depth. That is why this deal is not just about jets. It is about redefining how India engages with global powers. Now that India has the Su-57, the impact will ripple far beyond its borders. The US and France are visibly uncomfortable. The US had pitched its F-21 and F-35, but India made it clear. It wants partners, not sellers. It wants independence, not dependency. And above all, it wants control over its own defense destiny. With the Su-57 in its arsenal, the Indian Air Force has transformed. No longer just a reactive force, it is now proactive, capable of identifying threats before they materialize. From the LOC to the LAC, India is ready for multi-front warfare. These jets give India the power to dominate not just one, but multiple combat zones simultaneously. The Su-57's features elevate India's defense strength dramatically: stealth capabilities, super cruise speed, long-range strike ability, and multi-role adaptability make it a true game-changer. The IAF is already forming special squadrons for these jets, comprising the country's best pilots, trained to fly, fight, and dominate the skies with unmatched precision. Institutions like DRDO, HAL, and ADA are now collaborating with Russia, not just to understand the Su-57, but to go beyond it. India has already begun working on sixth-generation fighters, aiming to secure a future where it not only meets its own defense needs but becomes a global exporter of cutting-edge technology. And all of this is happening at a time when major world powers are caught up in regional tensions. India, without making noise, has made a move so bold, its echoes will be heard for decades. The Su-57 deal sends a clear message. India is not just a customer, it is a creator. Most importantly, it is now fully capable of defending its peace through strength, on its own terms. This is more than a military win. It is the triumph of a mindset, of strategy, of vision, and of self-belief. It proves that India is now a nation that can win wars without even fighting them. Because true power is when your very presence forces your enemies to think 10 times before making a move. India has taken off, and this flight will not just touch history, it will write the future.